Look how far we've come, all the things we've done. Did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view. But there's nothing more, girl, you made my heart beat.
And we are back.
And we are back, bumble bitches.
You nailed that.
Yeah.
That felt good. I have chills.
Even Ivy liked it.
So we are, I've brought you guys here today.
We're all gathered here today.
For this meeting because I'm doing a mom episode. Oh, I shouldn't get so
You
loud.
probably shouldn't yell because the kids are sleeping still.
My children are resting. I'm doing a mom episode. What a way to start this. This episode, I have compiled 10 things, right? These are not the 10 most important things. These are not 1 through 10, number 1 being the most important. These are just 10 things that I do as a mother, as a parent, who has pretty well-behaved children, who conduct themselves properly, who are empathetic, who understand their surroundings, and recognize that they are not the sole beings in the universe.
Right.
I am going to be reading from a list because I took notes on my phone the other day.
Okay, while you pull that up, today or tomorrow, I'm taking that picture down and taking the TV that the kids used to play PlayStation on and sticking that TV back here
Okay.
so that I can hook it up and I don't have to keep doing this,
I like that.
so that I can just look straight ahead and see what's going on. It'll just look like I'm staring off into space versus ignoring you.
All right. Alrighty. So I'm going to read the 10 things. I hate it as a viewer. Clicking on the video and you're like, 10 things I do for my spiritualism, 10 herbs that I recommend to have in your apothecary, 10 things to train your dog. And then you don't tell me what the fucking 10 things are. You just start at number 1. And now I'm going to the comments and seeing if there's like one hero down there who is like all 10 things so you don't have to watch the whole video.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Right?
So what are the 10 things?
So my 10 things are, remember, this is not in any specific order. I do not tolerate arguing with my children. There is a very clear authority within this household. I give grace. I give choice. I also enforce natural consequences. I prioritize the children's homeostasis. I lead by example. We have implemented a reward system. The children are aware of their autonomy, quality time, and routine. Those are my 10 things. And now we're going to get into all of them.
All right.
Anything that you would like to add to this?
Nope. I am your beautiful sidekick.
Yeah.
Did my hair this morning.
It looks great.
Got done up. I'm here to Vanna White your episode.
Okay. So my first one is I do not tolerate arguing with my children. There is a very clear authority in the household. My children are allowed to be upset. You can feel how you want to feel. You can be mad at me. You can be upset that I'm interrupting your flow of whatever you got going on. But I am not going to argue with you and I'm not going to repeat myself. So for example, we're having a day in the house and the children are doing their thing and they've been playing for about 3 hours. I come into their room. Oh, here's a bonus. I always give time heads up. I never just hard transition the children from one thing to another. 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Guys, in 5 minutes, I'm going to come in here and you're going to have to do something else.
When they learn how to tell time, you're fucked, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no. So we're getting away right now, right? Like the other day at the beach, we were like, all right, guys, 30-minute warning. And like after 12 minutes, we were like, we're done. We were like, all right, kids, it's been 30 minutes. Let's go. And they're like, okay. Because they got the time warning, right?
Yeah. One more. Can I jump in one more time?
Yeah.
Have at it. That
Right.
one time's not going to be the end of the world.
So that also plays into later on, right? This is going to be a great example for this whole episode, us going to the beach. So I will not argue with my children. If I walk into my children's bedroom, I'm like, in 15 minutes, you're going to have to start cleaning your room. So we're going to turn off the console. We're going to put our toys away. Whatever you're in the middle of doing, that's going to stop. And I always get hit with, okay, mommy. Yes, ma'am. Whatever the case may be, right? That has not always been the case. So if you are currently a mother or a father to a child and you hit them with, all right, guys, in 10 minutes, we're going to be wrapping it up. And they, no, I don't want to leave. What do you mean? Right? We nip that in the butt immediately. You're allowed to be upset. You can feel however you're going to feel, but we are not going to scream about it. We're not going to cry about it. And if you want to continue acting this way, we're going to leave right now. You're going to lose that 5, 10, 15-minute warning. You're going to lose that extra enjoyment playtime. And this bleeds into that natural consequences that we're going to touch on later on.
Choice theory.
Yes. You are the authority here. right? Temper tantrums are a child's way to try and control the situation, to get what they want, to make them happy, right? We as human beings are inherently selfish, and we see that in young children. It's mine. I don't want to go. I want to do this instead. I want to eat that, whatever the case may be. Their whole little world is about them. And as their parents, it is our job to teach them that you are not the center of the universe. We are here to serve one another. That's what we do as mothers. That's what fathers do in that role. Teachers are giving, right? We are living in a society of exchange. You're the authority figure. You are implementing that. This thing is going to happen. Then your child starts arguing with you. I'm not doing this with you. Real shit. My children will come up to me already in a bad mood, already whining, already trying to start a fight. And I will look at them and be like, excuse me, what is this? Right? And I'm not matching that energy. I'm not getting upset with them. You need to be the neutral rod in this chaotic child's emotional state, right? I know every single mother, father, whomever has a child in their life that you are trying to deal with has had a moment where you have broken down, screamed and cried, probably punched a hole in the wall, throw something, hurt yourself because you couldn't handle your emotions in the moment. You were far too overwhelmed. That is a child's constant state when they get into that point of screaming, crying, whatever the case may be.
They have not yet learned to emotionally regulate themselves.
Right.
And they don't know how to articulate what they're feeling, so it comes out in frustration.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be, they have now entered a state of combativeness, argumentativeness. They want what they want. We're not doing this. I need you to take a deep breath. And if my children cry, well, Sissy did this, but I am not going to talk to you until you take a deep breath. And if you would like to continue having this outburst, you can certainly do that, but I would like you to do that in your bedroom. And when you are done and you feel like you got all of your energy out and you are ready to talk to me, then we can do that. And that almost instantaneously flips their mood around because they want my attention.
Right.
I don't want to go to my bedroom and be by myself. I came to you upset because I want you to fix this. And I'm willing to help you fix this, but you need to be in a calm state for me to help you fix this, right? So deep breaths, and I'll even take a deep breath with them, maybe a couple to get them centered. And we always hold hands. We always hold hands because that is connection. I am here with you in this moment, struggling. I see your hurt, and I am not going to leave you. And then once they feel like that moment is past and they're no longer upset or whatever the case may be, then we can disconnect. And you can go back to living your life however we're going to do that. Say that doesn't work. Honey, take a deep breath. Come on, Samuel, you can do this. Now it's been 5 minutes. 5 minutes out of that 15-minute warning of them still being upset. Well, I don't want to leave and this, and that. I wouldn't allow it to get to that point. You have 30 seconds to reel this in or we're leaving. Deep breath doesn't work. Telling them that you're not going to talk to them while they're elevated doesn't bring their mood back down. You need to get to their level. Eye-to-eye contact, squat, kneel, sit down on the ground, and have a very real conversation with this child of, because you are acting this way, because you are screaming in public, because you're trying to hit me, because you're throwing yourself on the ground, because you're not getting what you want, we are now going to leave. And that is going to upset that child even more. I promise you, right? But what are we? We are warriors. We are adults. We could take on 5 of these children, right? Mm-hmm. And it's going to hurt. Seeing your child so upset is going to hurt. But this is the duty. This is the responsibility of the parent. When you, in whatever form or fashion, signed up to have a child, this was the unwritten rules that you also put your signature underneath. So you're going to take a screaming child back to the car, and then we're going to go back home, right? And now this whole car ride is an opportunity for you to reel your emotions back in. And that conversation might look like, Mommy, I want to go back. Mommy, I'm going to scream and cry, blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing this with you. My children hear that sentence so much. I am not going to do this with you. You can be upset. I reinforce that all the time. And say they don't want to calm down. I will raise my voice just once to get their attention, to snap it back. Some type of come on, what's this? Nothing that is aggressive towards them. Calm the fuck down. Why are you acting this way? Right?
Meaning you don't do that.
Right, you don't do that. We're not going to hit the children with that because it's just going to further escalate them.
Yep. Belittles them.
Right. I raise my voice to get attention. I'm also not going to talk over a child. Right? If they're screaming at yelling at me, come on, Jessica, it's okay, baby. What's the matter? Because now you're raising your voice to try and get over the child. We're not doing that. I'm going to do a single, and then they're all going to stop and they're going to look at me. Now that's the goal.
You're good, baby.
And then from there, just continued reaffirmation, right? This is a lot of repetition. This is a lot of doing it over and over again. And when you first start to implement these things, especially if your children are in the later single digits, right? 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, this is going to be a little bit harder for you because they have now established years of getting what they want, being able to push you over, being able to scream or throw a tantrum, whatever the case may be. So it's going to be a lot of repetition, a lot of repeating yourself, and a lot of taking deep breaths to remain calm. Is there anything that you want to add to that?
Yep.
In the authority?
I didn't want to take over because you're on a roll. It's very important that you get on their level.
Yeah.
Anybody that's never been intimidated in life, like if you've never experienced what it is to be intimidated by somebody else, you don't understand how fucked up it is to have a very large person over top of you looking down on you being aggressive. Mm-hmm. And when you are correcting people, whether you're doing it with kindness or not, there's always a level of what the fuck that's going on inside of them. So going from up here, like from this to this, makes it so that you're having a very intimate conversation versus this.
Right.
So it's important to lower yourself to them.
Yep. All right. Anything else on authority? Because all of these tie in together, right? I will be adding things on. Oh, so somebody in the chat asked. So for those of you who don't know, we are currently recording live in front of our Patreon. So we have about 60 people now who are in a chat who can ask us questions as we're recording live. And somebody's asked, how would you approach this with a teenager? So thinking of an older child, right? Because I don't have older kids. I have a 7 and I have an 8-year-old. But I have interacted with other people's older children. So if I'm sitting down with a 12, 13, 14, 15, let's say even a 17-year-old, and they're arguing with me and all these kinds of things, you are no longer dealing with a child who you are molding into a young adult. This is a young adult. Yeah,
you've already missed that opportunity to mold them if you haven't done this already.
So now you are no longer speaking to a child. You need to approach this conversation as I'm speaking to an equal.
Yeah.
This is somebody who has free will. This is somebody who can make their own decisions. This is somebody that you could call the cops on if they run away, but they can just keep running away and doing those own kinds of things, right? They recognize that they have power in their life now. You need to acknowledge that power in their life. I understand that you're upset. The same thing, I understand that you're upset, but you're not going to speak to me that way.
Yeah.
And you're not going to speak to me that way, not just because I'm your mother. We don't treat human beings like this when we're upset, right? And now we're going to lean more into the actual conversation of emotional regulation. I have those conversations with our children, but I'm using terms that a 7 and 8-year-old can understand. Right. At 13 to 17 years old, you have a very intelligent, capable, absorbing sponge of a brain and a human being who will be able to have those more self-conscious awareness conversations. So I would sit down with a 17-year-old and say, why are you yelling at me like this? Why are you feeling such intense emotion that you are okay with allowing yourself to get to a point where you treat somebody this way, right? And I know I'm not acting like that. I don't know how the person who asked that question is acting or anybody who may have a teenager. You lead by example.
Yep.
And we will touch on that later on.
I have some things I want to add to this before you move on.
Okay, I'm not moving on.
Okay, I thought you were about to. Go.
It's okay.
Wait. I thought you were about to go back to the original topic.
No.
Did I just derail your train of thought?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I have things to add to this, and I was trying to wait until you were done. It's important to recognize that, like she said, that your matching behavior, there's a difference between you being disrespected and you feeling disrespected. You expect your child to be this perfect little thing, and you forget that you still scream and cry in the car to let your frustrations out. And maybe you don't. Maybe you drink. Maybe you go to the gun range. Maybe you go to jujitsu. You have creative outlets to get your frustration out because you're an adult and you have found ways to regulate your emotions. They are still children mentally in a body that's now hormonal and growing. So there needs to be a whole lot of grace. And all the corrections that my wife just talked about giving needs to be done outside of conflict. When they're going through that and they're feeling the way that they're feeling, if you're trying to shut that down, you're basically ending their ability to process their emotions. You're teaching them that it's not okay to feel what they're feeling. Let them feel the way that they're feeling. If they're being disrespectful a little bit in the moment, maybe let them be disrespectful a couple of times. If it gets to the point where it's getting out of control, then you stop it. But after things have calmed down, you being disrespected as an adult by a child is not that big of a deal.
Right.
Right? It's your duty to teach them how to be a good person. And when children are elevated and freaking out and having a moment, you're not teaching them shit. They fucking hate you right now. That emotion is very strong. After the fact, when things have calmed down and things are going good, then you have those conversations because they've had time to think about their actions. They have time to process what's happened and they're no longer emotional.
Yep. Cool down periods with children is important. Right. And that's something that I'm also teaching my children. It takes 45 minutes for your nervous system to calm down. Do they understand what those words mean? No. But I tell them, if you need 45 minutes, if you need 15 minutes, if you need a break from me, you can tell me that, right? My son will our children have their own mental things going on, right? And our son is very particular about life. And there are times where I'll do something and he'll just look at me, he'll be like, Mommy, I need 5 minutes. And he'll walk away and be like, I get it, bud. I totally understand. I don't know what I just did, but thank you for not yelling at me. Right? I appreciate you being calm, cool, and collected. There is always a gratitude and appreciation given when they choose to do something that's not destructive. There is no, well, what did I do? Why are you going to your bedroom? Why are you upset? Why do you need 5 minutes? Okay, bud. When you're ready to talk about it, you let me know. And if you don't want to talk about it, cool. It's not going to ruin my day, right? That was just to add on to your conversation.
Okay, well, I have more to add to what you just said too. So that also teaches emotional regulation. It teaches that not everything has to be resolved right now. It teaches you that if you are flooded and you don't have words, this is the difference between emotion and ego. Mm-hmm. Allowing your child to step away and to regain their composure, to come and have a conversation, tells them that it is okay for them to step outside of a situation instead of continuing to be combative simply because somebody else wants to be combative. It actually puts the power back into their life. Don't you walk away from me. You fucking listen. Look at me when I'm speaking to you, and all of those, pointing, aggressive. You are removing the child's ability to learn to creatively think and fix what's going on within them. This is why children start acting up and breaking things and pushing things over and flipping tables and smashing tablets. It's because they have not learned how to emotionally regulate themselves. Right. That I need 5 minutes, let them go do their thing. This is not a get out of jail free card. This is You need to go calm down so that we can continue to talk like adults. The more you treat your child as an educated adult, as somebody that you respect and understand that they are not capable of the level of emotional control that you have because you have an entire life lived of doing this, the better off you're going to be. There needs to be a whole lot of grace for both of you. And teenage years is the hardest years of a child's life.
Yes, it is. Massive change.
Not just for the parents. Like, it's hard for parents, but it's really fucking hard for the kids. Peer pressure becomes a thing. Worrying about how you dress at school becomes a thing. Popularity, hormones, pimples, fucking who's having sex. Like,
yeah, you become aware of other people's judgments.
Right. Your kids want you to listen.
Yeah.
They want a support system. They want you to know that, like, no matter what, you have their back. Mm-hmm. And the reality is most of your children don't feel like you have their back. Right. They feel like if they come to you, oh God, my mom or my dad is going to kill me if they find out, blah, blah, blah. They know that there's no trust there. Like, you're not a safe space for them at that point. And not all children need safe spaces. Some of them need a fucking spanking.
Yep.
Right. But obviously you're not spanking a teenager. That's just not a thing. But they also need to understand that they're coming to an age where there's going to be real consequences for their actions. There are 13, 14-year-old kids who are being charged as an adult for crimes that they're committing. Yep. At that point, there's nothing you can do about what's happening in their life because the system gets a hold of them.
Yep. I also wanted to touch on, there's a really big conversation of, I don't like how I feel when I'm angry, so I know you don't like how you feel right now.
Yeah.
There are different ways to handle the emotions that you're experiencing without getting to a point of hyperventilating or screaming and crying or hurting your knees because you threw yourself onto the floor to throw a temper tantrum. And that's always a part of the conversation too. So after the correction of we don't act this way or absolutely not, or we're going to go ahead and leave, there's a conversation of how do you feel right now? Because I know that this doesn't feel good. And then there is the guidance of allow me to show you a better way to handle this in the future where everybody everybody feels at least okay, right? You can be upset and still feel okay. Right? We never just feel one emotion at a time. Teaching the children that nothing is world ending besides the world ending. Everything else is just a speed bump to overcome has really also led into their trust of my authority. right? And I don't abuse my authority. And that will go into the later on points. Is there anything else you would like to touch on this topic before we go on to number 2?
Yeah, I have 2 things, and they're both from the chat. If you guys are unaware, we do record all these episodes live in front of our Patreon audience. We have a Discord community. There's a whole lot of things that you guys are missing out of by not being a part of what we do behind the scenes. We have Zoom calls from time to time. There's giveaways. There's a whole lot within our community. And to be a part of the Patreon and not to be a part of the Discord community, you're really missing out on what we've built. That's not relevant to what I was saying. I just wanted to let you guys know where these comments are coming from. The first one is I have a kid who's in therapy. He says it's not helping. Should I take a break or make him continue to go? You need to have him find another therapist.
Yeah.
For those of you who have never done like long stints of therapy, the biggest part of it is finding your therapist. There's tons of therapists out there. They're just not right for you. Yes. And like when your son finds somebody that he's able to relate to and open up and talk to, you end up with the Goodwill Hunting style relationship. That's where real change happens. So maybe ask him how he feels about his therapist. And if he's like, he's all right, then
Why
find
is it
another
not
therapist.
Working?
Right.
Yeah. What do you feel like you need from therapy that you're not getting right now?
Right. The other thing was somebody said something about motivating a child and they wanted to be a barber, but they don't want to do it because they have shaky hands and they're afraid of getting clean lines. This is practice makes habit. Perfect practice makes perfect. And learning how to do something is different than learning how to do it correctly. Going to barber school to learn how to brace your hands when you're cutting lines. Don't let your dream go by the wayside because you think you might suck at it. Everybody sucks at what they start doing. Anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. Yep. Let your kid chase their fucking dreams. If they're like my handshake, be like, so what? I know a whole lot of tattoo artists that have shaky hands until they start tattooing. And the moment the fucking needle hits skin, their hand is steady as shit.
Yep.
Because this is what they do 8 hours a day for the last 10 years of their life. Don't let that discourage you from chasing your fucking dreams. And as a parent, you should be the one to like hype that up. And you should look into like, how do barbers with shaky hands draw lines? So you can fucking YouTube anything now. There's no excuse for you to not be involved in trying to boost up your child. That's all I got on that.
I would say that it's less about his motivation and more about his negative self-talk. So I would have a conversation with him of everything is hard when you first start doing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I would even share an experience, a lived life experience where maybe I had a mental breakdown because I thought I couldn't do this. Like, for example, body piercing. I had very shaking hands when I first started. I was absolutely terrified of fucking up somebody's body. And then I became one of the best body piercers at the studio.
Yeah.
Amount of Google reviews that I received. It takes dedication and it takes self-confidence.
Yeah.
So evaluate his self-confidence, right? Give him little goals to hit. Maybe not cutting lines, but other things that he can do as a barber that will build up his self-confidence to actually face this thing and say that I can do this because I've accomplished all of these other things in the field.
As we have this conversation, I realize I still haven't learned how to play my drum. I really need to fucking eat my own medicine right now.
Can you scroll up a little bit? There was something I wanted to touch on. Somebody said, that was a continuation. He wants to be a YouTuber and record his games and post them, which I support, but it's a slow growing thing. Real shit, our kids do not have access to the internet.
Nope.
So our son will never say, I want to dedicate my time to being a streamer on YouTube and playing video games because he's not watching that. We are very strict about what our children have access to in our household. And of course, at the other home, I can't control that, so I have nothing to say about that. But in our household, we watch educational things. Their Netflix is restricted. I will go through the Netflix app and remove things for them to view. They don't watch YouTube. They can't have access to Roku. Everything is contained. And we very much monitor what the children ingest. I do not want my son's aspirations to be, I want to be a streamer on YouTube.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not saying that you're wrong for that. I'm not saying that you're fucking up. You can't change what he wants. He's been exposed to what he's been exposed to. There would be very real conversations of you can do this in your free time, but this is not going to be your job.
Yeah. Until you can start making money doing it.
Right.
The amount of people that like kids that want to be internet famous is the job now.
Yeah.
And you have to think with the billions of kids going to school, you have a better chance of becoming a neurosurgeon than you do at becoming a content creator. And it's not just a matter of being good at what you do. There's, your appearance matters. Your your
Likability.
charisma matters. The way that you pronunciate things matters. Like, it's not just about playing video games. There's so much that goes into that, which is why there's only a handful of people in the world that actually make a good living creating content. Because of what we do, us putting our kids on would be a leg up for them.
Yeah.
But even then, I would discourage them from doing this.
Yes.
There's so much stress that comes in from this because it could all be taken away in a moment. It's so fickle. It's like being a one-hit wonder. We were just talking about this in the shower this morning.
Yeah.
You never know when this is just going to stop. And if this is your only skill in life, you are fucked. We always have body modification to fall back on.
We do.
And we make decent money doing that. We could continue to sustain our life. We'd have to dial things back, but we would survive. Photography, being a photographer and being a content creator is not something that I would ever tell somebody to dive in head first and give everything they have to it without having financial stability in the background. You can all or nothing that shit if you have 6 months of work saved so that you can live for the next 6 months and give it everything for 6 months. But there's no guarantee that you're going to make it. You may blow through your savings and have to go back to work.
Right.
There's a whole lot of risk that comes to that. And there are people out there who fucking blow up overnight. We got very popular very quick.
Yes, we
and
did.
then it stopped. Like we are
Plateaued.
treading water right now with where we're at on the podcast. And it's been 4 years of this. There are people who have been doing content creation that have been continuously growing over the last decade. There's things that are external circumstances like COVID. The amount of people who got famous during COVID because everyone was home with nothing to do. Yep. All of those channels are now suffering because it was filler. Mm-hmm. There was nothing there to really ingest, right? And content creation for video games only goes so far because video games are only as popular as the people who are playing it, and they're only playing it to get watching it to get ideas. Like that's right. Little kid shit. Like you're not. That's one of those things that I would love for our kids to take over and like create a teen to be better as they get older and to continue to do what we do. But there's also a whole lot of risk of mental health because of what we've gone through and the internet being an ugly place and like stunted development. There's a whole lot of risk that comes into that. And like, I'm down to support dreams, but I will support those dreams while you're still learning arithmetic and socials and history and trying to build some sort of, trade so that you have something to fall back on. All right. Number 2.
All right. So number 2 is I give grace. And by I give grace, that means once the children apologize for something, that's it. I was sitting in the kids' school. This was before school. We were doing early morning reading. And this was to get them a leg up in their reading curriculum. We'd be able to go in, they could read a book, and I can help them take a test. And that would contribute to their reading scores in school. So this wasn't just like a facade, not a facade thing, I don't know what to call it. It actually counted towards their grades. And we were sitting in there and the children were reading their books and this grandfather came in with his granddaughter, elementary school. And they sit down and I don't know what she did wrong, but I can't believe you did that. You made this morning so rough, blah, 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 blah. And this little girl's, I'm sorry, Grandpa. I just can't believe that you did that. And he just kept fucking going at her. And like, it broke my heart. And I looked at this little girl and I said, it's okay. It's okay. And like, she's fucking sitting there crying. This old man gave me a nasty ass look. And like, it was the bell rang. So we were heading out. There was no room for a confrontation. Why do that to a child? I understand that you are frustrated. And I understand that you are spread thin and you are overwhelmed and finances and money is tight and your husband is an asshole and your wife keeps nagging at you or whatever the case may be. You have this precious little light in front of you who looks at you like you are on top of the fucking world. And because they made a single mistake, you are going to make the next hour, 2 hours, the whole day, maybe the next week miserable for them because they happen to inconvenience you. Grace is such an important thing as a parent, in my opinion. And that looks like, it's okay, sweetheart. I still make mistakes, right? And added on to this conversation, I also apologize to my children. So if I'm in the middle of something and they mommy, me, and I've already asked, guys, I need 5 minutes, I'm working, blah, 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 blah. And then something hits me in the back of the head because somebody mistrajected their throw. And I turn around and I'm like, come on, guys. And I lose it and I yell or whatever the case may be. I apologize to my children. I'm sorry that I did that. And they hit me with, it's okay. No, it's not okay. I was upset. I was frustrated. I asked you guys for some time and you kept doing whatever you're doing, but me turning around and yelling at you is not okay. Them telling me it's okay, I label that as grace. I appreciate you guys having grace with me and loving me and understanding, but I want you to understand people yelling at you because they're upset is not okay.
Right.
So I'm teaching them what it means to have grace with me. And in turn, I am showing that grace with them when they mess up, when they don't listen, whatever the case may be. That was a pretty short one for me. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, you said something, but I was answering a question in the chat. Give me a second. Let me
Okay.
rewind what you said. The man treating the child like that is where self-esteem issues come in.
Yeah.
That is where the lack of self-worth, the I will never be good enough, the I'm nothing but a burden to people, that is the destruction of any type of positive self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
And that in a one-time thing is just going to make someone feel bad.
Yeah.
Repeated of that is going to turn somebody into a people pleaser and
I
never
was
allow them
just
to
getting
live
ready
their
to
life.
say that. Yep.
Yeah, that was all I got on that. I'm going to go get another snack. I'm hungry.
Okay. So moving on from grace, number 3 is I give choice. Oh, hang on. Peach, my question got lost earlier. Can I send you a cool rock and bone that I found on my land? Absolutely. P.O. Box is 1181 South Sumter Boulevard, Box 361 in Northport, Florida, 34287.
It's also on the website if that was too fast for you.
Send it all to me. I want all of the trinkets. I'll take dead bugs. I will take moss, sticks, scrap yarn, your old grandma's left shoe. I'll take all of it. I don't care. So number 3 is I give choice. So for those of you who have not read Choice Theory, highly, 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 highly recommend it. Choice is one of the reasons I believe that we come to this realm, that we choose to be humans, that we are here, is to have choice and to choose things and to make our decisions and feel the weight of those decisions and those choices. Everybody wants to feel control in their life, right? And where do you derive your control from? Your choices. One way to derive control is from choices. When you remove choice from children, you are also removing their control and their power from their life. That's when acting out starts to happen. That's when sneaking around starts to happen, the lying and whatever the case may be. As a mother, I understand that my children are whole separate beings with thought processes, feelings, understandings, wants, desires, needs, etc. from myself. And as they grow older, I will be able to control them less. I am implementing good choices now with my children while they are still malleable versus when they're 15 or 16 years old trying to date a 24-year-old and smoke weed and all these other kinds of things, trying to help them that understand that choice matters. So that looks like once a week, our children get to choose what we have for dinner and they cook it. I help them, but they get to choose something that's integral to the family. We are being fed through their choice. When we go grocery shopping, what do you guys want to eat, right? I'm not buying junk food. We are a healthier household, right? We still eat Domino's or we'll go out to eat at Outback or whatever the case may be. But I'm not buying ho-hos and I'm not buying oatmeal cream pies and all those kinds of things. So they have choice within limitation. Choice is also a really good way, right? So now this is a secret tip for all of the moms out there with children under the age of like 4. Choice is a really good way to get your children to do what you want them to do. If you, instead of telling them you need to go clean your bedroom, hit them with, would you like to go clean your bedroom? Or do you want to help me clean the stinky toilet? Right? Because now they have a choice and they can choose either one, right? And we have to do both. But which one do you want to do? Because now they can say, I want to clean my bedroom instead of touch the stinky toilet. Ew. And now it's a fun thing for them. This is an independent thing for them. As much as children love being on our hips and connected to us, they also want to feel pride in the things that they can do on their own.
Yep.
And then, of course, reward that. If their room is not perfect, don't start, well, you need to pick that up and you need to clean that up and that's a mess and make your bed and blah, blah, blah. This looks great. Couple of spots that still need some work. I still see a little dust pile over there that you missed and you still got some things under bed, but overall, you've done a really good job of cleaning up your bedroom. I'm going to come back in like 15 minutes. And when you're done, we can high five or go get ice cream, whatever the case may be. That's that. Do you have anything to add on to choice?
Nope. I will say that we do the same thing in the tattoo industry.
It's the same thing with adults. We're all just big children.
Yeah.
And we're all trainable. We as human beings, right? So there is somebody in my life. I'm not going to say who this person is, but there's somebody in my life. And I told them that human beings are animals, and they hit me with, no, we're not. Let me show you something, right? I pulled up Neil deGrasse Tyson and all these other kind of fucking things. Before being intellectual human beings, we are primal animals. And we have, like every other species in the world, evolutionized ourselves to become these intelligent, capable, opposable thumb beings. We are trainable. You are training your children how to be good human beings. The same way you train a dog to be a good listening dog, or whatever the case may be. Choice is part of that. And training them through choice by presenting options and allowing them to choose it, right? So this doesn't look like, do you want to go to Busch Gardens next week? And they're like, yeah. And then you're like, oh, sorry guys, Busch Gardens doesn't happen. That's fucked up.
Right.
Right now, life circumstances may happen, but you never pull the rug out from under your children. If you present them with a choice, you must follow through as the parent and provide them with what they chose. Can't remember where I was going with that. I feel like y'all get the point though. Get the gist of it?
Yep. I have something I want to add though, because somebody asked about the tattoo industry. Somebody in the chat said, how does this work in the tattoo industry? If you come into the shop and you're like, I want this tattoo, and you explain all the cool shit you want, and I don't want to do that tattoo, I'm going to quickly throw together 3 things that I want to do that's similar to what you've asked for, put all 3 on the counter and be like, these are your 3 options. You're going to pick one. I'm going to do the tattoo. You're going to leave happy.
Yep.
And I'm not going to have to do a stupid fucking tattoo. Because ultimately that's what it comes down to. My job is to make sure that you are getting good artwork on you, not something that's going to look like dog shit in the next 3 months, or something that has too much detail in it that you can't tell what it is, right? Yeah. Like people want to argue with us and tell us how to do our job. When we have people come to the house to do things, like we had a plumber come out and he's like, what do you, and I'm like, don't ask me any questions about anything.
Right.
And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm not a plumber. This is your job. I want it done right. Do your fucking job. Give me the bill and I'll pay you. Mm-hmm. That's how that works. Granted, there are people out there that will take advantage of you. Yeah. I obviously know my plumber, but like I'm not going to tell somebody that's in a field that has been doing a job for 10 or 15 years how to do their job. I'm just not. I'm not going to tell a chef how to cook my steak. Like you're in this position for a reason. Do your fucking thing, and I'm going to enjoy my life thanks to the service that you're putting out there for other people.
Right.
So.
All right. So number 4, this goes really well with number 3 when giving choice, because there are natural consequences, and I will implement those natural consequences. For example, we went to an appointment the other day, and at the end of this appointment, there were lollipops. Children are allowed to pick their lollipops, but this time, Sissy allowed brother to pick out her lollipop. She didn't like the taste of it. She threw it away. We were already out the door. I'm not walking back in there to get you another lollipop. She got super upset, super sad, but brother, no. You had every opportunity to say, brother, I appreciate this, but I want to pick out my own lollipop.
Yep.
But I didn't know the flavor, and you still chose that lollipop. You took the risk on the mystery, and you didn't like it. Now you know, future reference, go for the strawberry one, the safe option.
Yep.
There was about a 10-minute upset in the car ride home, but that was I kept repeating myself. But I'm really upset and I want a lollipop. But you chose the mystery one and you didn't like it. I was like, there's a lesson to learn in that. Some of our choices we are not always going to like.
Right.
Once I made a choice to get a macchiato tiramisu. Macchiato.
This is coffee.
Matcha.
Know. Yeah.
That's what I meant to say.
I don't know what a tiramisu is, but.
It's that coffee dessert.
Oh, yeah.
The layered lady fingers. I decided to get a matcha tiramisu, and I discovered that I don't drink normal matcha. I hated it. I spent $12 on matcha tiramisu, took 2 bites out of it, threw it away mad at myself, right? But I learned a lesson. I'm fruity. I like coffee with my sugar.
Yep.
Right? And I gave her that example too. I have made bad decisions in life, didn't like the outcome of it, and had to live with it. And I was like, tomorrow, if you get an opportunity to pick a lollipop, You're going to be happier in that situation than you are now. And I was like, guess what that is? And she was like, what? And I was like, duality. Y'all, when I tell you that our children get all of it, they get all of it. And she was like, well, what's duality? And I was like, it's the good and the bad. You're experiencing the bad now, and then tomorrow you're going to get the good in whatever form that comes. Do you have anything for natural consequences?
No, I just got that consequence. I interrupted your shit and I feel bad for it.
Yeah. I also implement natural consequences when something good happens, right? So I don't only point out these kinds of things when they're going through a rough patch, because then it just becomes lecturing. You only tell me this when I'm upset, and I don't want to hear this when I'm upset, right? So we give the children an allowance, and that allowance is earned through the week, and that allowance may vary. You will get less or you will get more than the set amount dependent upon the different variables, right? And those variables look like behavior, how you conduct yourself in public, how much of your chores you get done, how you treat us as your parents, right? Whole lot of things that go into it. Temper tantrums, fighting with each other, just lost 5 cents for calling your brother a name, whatever the case may be. But when they get their allowance and they're able to go spend our money, for example, I went to Books A Million the other day, took my daughter with me. We had a little book date together. And I picked up myself a new dream journal, which reminds me I need to sit down and do that still. Damn it. It's not fresh anymore. My dream is wilting. Over here short-circuiting over myself. And our daughter got A's and B's. Again, she earned honor roll at school. And for honor roll, the children earn $50. You work really hard in school, you get A's and B's, you get $50. You get straight A's, you get $100. She earned $50. She had a credit because we didn't have any cash on us. We went to Books A Million. There were all of these amazing things, plushies and pillows and blankets and toys. And she's coming up to me and she was like, this is $17. Can I get it? And I was like, how much money do you have? She was like, 50 plus what I have in my wallet. And I was like, okay, well, you know how to do math. And I pulled up my calculator and I typed in 17. And I was like, this is what you got. And I was like, she had like $70 on her. And right? And I subtracted 70 minus 17. I was like, this is what you have left. And she just kept grabbing things and we were pulling it away, pulling the money away. And then she came across this horse with a train and a girl, and like they live in the train together. It was this massive box. Thing was like $30. She was down to like $17. I was like, you're going to have to put some things away. And she had a second where she started getting upset because she wants all of it. Right. All of these things are dropping dopamine in her mind. But she took a deep breath, right? And I'm so proud of my children. I catch them taking deep breaths all the time. And I'm like, I recognize you're having a moment. I'm fucking proud of you for taking a deep breath instead of having a temper tantrum. Yep. And then I just go about the day. She was taking her deep breath and she was like, Mommy, I'm going to put some things away. And she picked out and she put things away, and she actually put enough away that she has like $12 left over on the credit if she wants it.
Good for her.
And she was able to get this train horse and a little notebook and some bookmarks and all these kinds of things. And standing at the cash register, she handed over her money and paid with the cash. And she picked up this big old bag. It was the same size as her. She's walking out of Books A Million carrying this big ass box above her head with the bag. And it's like this far off the ground. And she, Mommy, I paid for this. Mommy, I earned this. Thank you so much for giving me an allowance and all these kinds of things. I was like, baby, I didn't just give you the allowance. You earned that. You did all of this.
Right.
You don't have to thank me for anything. Be proud of you, right? This is the consequences. You put in the hard work, you earned the money, and now you get to play with this amazing toy because you made good decisions.
This is the life lessons that we're instilling in our children.
Yep. Anything on natural consequences?
We went to Wawa.
Okay.
They had just gotten their allowance. Little man fucked up and spent $40 on PlayStation. And I was like, you owe me $40. Yeah. And he's like, what? And I'm like, you bought a game. Yeah. That game was $40. You didn't talk to me about it. You owe me $40. And I was like, how much money do you have? And he was like, he actually had exactly $40, $45 or something like that. And I was like, well, I owe you 20 from the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to remove that 20 that I owe you. So you owe me 20. And he gave me 20 and I gave it to her because we owed her 20 for her allowance. And she's like, can we go to Wawa? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of something, but when I'm not, yeah, we can go to Wawa. And they both grabbed their money. We went to the gas station. They bought their things and I made them go to the counter and pay and figure out the money and the change and all of those things. And the lady that was working there was super cool. She was an older woman. Yeah. And the woman that was to the left of us was also old and super cool. Like everybody was watching this interaction unfold. And like the lines started gathering. I looked back at everybody and I was like, sorry
guys.
this is a life lesson right now for my
y'all
kids.
Y'all are going to wait.
And everybody's like, no, this is totally cool. And like everybody watched what happened and they got the receipt. The woman counted the change and like they did the whole thing. And we got in the car and little miss was like, Pops, I got coins and $17 still. Yeah. And, you know, there's just a whole lot of this is those moments that will only happen once.
Right.
The magic of that transaction is now just a normal thing. It's no longer a magical, for instance, just like what you experienced at the bookstore. Like those things only happen once. After that, it's just a normal life thing.
Yeah.
So it's important to really take heed of those moments.
Yes. Yeah. I also want to touch on that. People get super worried about your children being inconveniences in public. I promise you that's like 0.5% of the population. Humanity enjoys joy, and children bring joy. Most of the old people that you see out in the world are grandparents.
Yeah.
Most of the people out in the world are also parents. Their kids are just at home or at school or at daycare or whatever is going on. I also don't give a fuck. I will make the whole world stop for my children to experience something.
Yeah, you should. Not a podcast till Peaches cries. It's been a while. You've gotten your emotions in check so much that it starts and you kind of reel it back.
That got me up. I'm so glad you brought over 2 paper towels. I don't give a fuck if my kids are an inconvenience to your day.
It's a minor inconvenience to your day.
Right?
Nobody's really upset right now but you, bro. Like, breathe.
So my children are learning life experiences. Right. And everything is still magical to them.
But it's also teaching them that it's not that big of a deal, right? Like all of these things and inconveniencing other people for a few seconds of your life is not the end of the world.
Do you have anything else for this one?
Nope. What number are we on?
Going on to number 5.
Okay.
So number 5 is I prioritize my children's homeostasis. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care how pissed off I am. I don't care if we're in the middle of, I don't care. We could be rushing out the door to make it to an appointment or whatever the case may be. If I notice that my child is overwhelmed, freaking out, panicking, it is out of homeostasis, everything is stopping, including my own emotions. And I will get to their level, what's going on with you right now? And we'll have a conversation, we'll have a dialogue. The consequences, the child getting into trouble, all of that, leaving for the doctor's appointment, comes secondary once somebody is no longer okay in their body, right? And we can have that conversation after the fact. Let's get you back into homeostasis. It takes 45 minutes for the nervous system to calm down. And then once that is achieved, then we can talk about why that wasn't okay. Why are you losing your television for the next 48 hours? Talk to the doctor about why we're late. Reschedule the appointment. It is what it is. Sometimes you can't miss the appointment and you can have that conversation in the car. There's no excuse to not make sure that your child is okay. Right? So I get it. Some appointments that we waited 8 months for this appointment. If we reschedule it, it's going to be a year and a half in advance and all these kinds of things. Then prioritize your child's homeostasis in the car ride.
Right. That's on you though. Right? If you allow things to get to that point where you're doing that in the car, it's because you dropped the ball. If you know that you have to be somewhere at 5 o'clock and like, you're waiting until 4:45 to start loading up. Like you did that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
At that point, it's not on your kids. It's on you. Like this, you're the adult. You're the creator of worlds, as they say on Ants Canada. Like you are the one that's supposed to be leading your children. You lead by example. And if you are making their world chaotic because you are chaotic, you're doing them a disservice.
Yep. All right. Anything to add to the children's homeostasis?
Nope.
Number 6 is I lead by example. So I emotionally regulate. I don't yell at my children. And when I do yell at my children, I apologize for it. I take accountability for my behavior. If I speak out of the side of my neck to Pops, I apologize to Pops in front of the children.
Yep.
I cuss at somebody who cuts me off in the road. I acknowledge that is probably not the way I am in front of the kid. Right? I don't cuss in front of the children. But if I'm like, what a stupid man.
Yeah.
Right? Well, why did you call that man stupid? Well, he's not really stupid. I'm just frustrated with him because he did something in traffic that inconvenienced me, right?
There's a balance too, because I do cuss in front of the kids.
You do.
I want to touch on that real quick before you move on, is that children have never seen us yell at each other.
Correct.
Because we don't yell at each other.
Yep.
So while they might have other people in their lives that scream and yell and their relationships might be fucked up and that might be normal to them, the children have never seen me once mistreat you in any way, shape, or fashion.
And vice versa.
Because those things don't happen. So like there's no talking out of the side of the neck at Pops. Like you might come in hot for a second and realize that you're coming in hot and have to hit your brakes a little tight and be like, ooh, emergency brake that one.
Sorry.
Right. But it doesn't look like anything negative to them. It just looks like we came in a little elevated and realized it and corrected our tone. So that matters to children. There's a good thing to see that they need to see when it comes to real life problem solving. And real life problem solving shouldn't look like throwing chairs and punching holes in the walls and screaming and yelling and calling each other cunts. And like, that shouldn't be a thing. You're teaching your children that that is okay behavior. And if you get that early and you're able to regulate your household, you're leading by example, like you just said, it's a healthier situation.
And also leading by example, I maintain myself. My children watch me work out. Our children go on hikes with us. Our children do yoga. Our children meditate because we do all of these things. Our children not work with us. Our children cook with me. Cooking feels like work sometimes. It was a little Freudian slip. The children will cook with me, right? I allow them to cut the food. They have children safe knives. They've gotten burned because they're handling things from the air fryer or they're cooking on the stovetop or they're helping me pull things out of the oven. And that bleeds into the natural consequences. When we are doing things like this, there is a possibility, if you are not paying attention, that you're going to get hurt.
Yep.
And then my grace comes into that because they have a little mini freak out or they don't want to cook with me anymore. We're going to take a deep breath. We're going to continue to do this thing because this is something you are going to have to do. You can't just not cook. You cannot learn how to cook. And we're going to get through this together, right? Also leading by example. Oh, no, don't leave my mind. No. Baby, come back.
You can blame it all on me.
It's
was
all
wrong.
the weed.
And I just can't live without you.
What was I saying? No. Natural consequences, talking about cooking. I lead by example. I lead by example. One of the biggest things that I lead by example is that I question everything. And this is very prevalent when we watch TV with the children.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what we're watching. I have the TV room. My husband is a TV man. He usually handles all of that and I'm making my way downtown. But when we're watching TV with the children, I'm holding the remote because I'm pausing that shit.
Why did that just happen?
Right?
What did that mean?
What's happening right now? I want you to tell me what you see going on, right? And then we piece it together and then we talk about it. Why is that not okay? Why is that person acting like that if that's not okay? We really break down the human behavior to understand what's going on, which in turn will help them understand themselves better, right? And I will also bring them in on my world. And leading by example, if they observe me, right? Because 80% of language is body language. 100% of babies' language is body language. Can't speak to you, so they have to use their body to communicate with what's going on. Facial expressions, how they move themselves, all those kinds of things. And my children observing my body language, right? Because I observe their body language, we will call each other out. Mommy, why are you making that face? Buddy, why are you moving your hands like that? What's going on in your world, right? And I will let them know I am overwhelmed because I didn't set an alarm and now I'm late to things. Or I forgot today was Saturday and instead of having one thing to do, I have 4 things to do and I wasn't mentally prepared for that. I dropped a ball, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to say I bring them in on my mistakes because I'm not trying to have them carry the weight of those things, but I allow them to be aware of how I cope with my life, how I handle mistakes, the fact that I do still make mistakes and all of those kinds of things. Anything to add to leading by example?
Nope. Jenny said, haha, I love watching TV with Peach and I'm not a kid.
I love that. I am so glad.
This is one of those things where I had a moment where I read that where it made me smile because we're at a point where like our community has really become more than an internet presence. Like there's so many people who are in our actual lives now because of the tribe.
Yeah. And actually know our in-person mannerisms,
Right.
experience.
I mean, there's people that are part of the community who have actually been around our kids.
Yeah.
And it's not just one person. Like there's been a lot of them. And like, that's a sacred thing to us.
Yes, it is.
And that just goes to show the importance of the Discord and the Patreon community that we built. If you guys are lonely, if you're missing people, if you need a community, we fucking have that. It's $15 a month, dude. Like,
And we're a part of it.
50 cents a day. For 50 cents a day, you can save your inner child.
Bitch, that was funny. Oh my God. Can we put that on a shirt?
I mean, we could. tobebetter.com/join.
Yeah. For 50 cents a day, you can save your inner child. I love it.
That'll be our next drop.
Fuck yeah. I want it on a hoodie.
Steve, I see you're in the chat. I miss you, brother. And I saw that donation you made to the church this morning. We appreciate that shit.
Texted Libby the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've recognized that my circle of women has gotten so big that like my bitches are on a rotation.
Could you imagine saying that 5 years ago?
Absolutely not.
Right.
I didn't even like me as my friend.
Right.
It is overwhelming. And I hope the ladies understand that there's so much going on in my life that I can't text every single day. But when I do text with these women, like it's very meaningful. I'm not just sending one, I'm sending like heaps of messages, but you're going to read a novel by the time you get to my shit. Okay, so now moving on to number 7, we have a reward system. And I touched on that reward system. So the children receive an allowance now. And the allowance is not the only reward system. I'm not going to get into the allowance and how that's based because I touched on that earlier on the Books A Million example. Rewards can look like you guys have done amazing this week. We're going to go to the beach Friday night. You guys' behavior has been so well, or just because you guys have been so great, we're going to go watch a movie tomorrow. We are blessed to live in a country where we are allowed to do what we want, right? We're not restricted by power surges or power outages or fucking restricted in the money that we can make. Like we are very blessed to be where we are at. And I want the children to experience the fruits of our labor in life.
Yeah, for sure.
And to show them what you can accomplish and what you would be able to do because of what you've accomplished.
Yeah.
Right? So spend $800 to take our daughter to medieval times for her birthday. Right? And that's one of those things where you get to experience that because of how hard that we've worked.
Right.
So that's not only a natural consequence and a reward for your amazing behavior. We're going to do this amazing thing for your birthday. This is the natural consequence of they ask us all the time, why do you guys work so much? Mommy, you're always working. Why is Pops always at the computer? So that we are able to do things like this for you guys. So that we can live life like this.
Yep. Wait until we take them somewhere like Costa Rica or Bali and they get to experience the jungle.
Yeah.
Yep.
And real shit, if you as a parent don't have a reward system for yourself, you cannot teach a reward system to your child.
Yep.
I feel everybody kind of like avoiding my eye contact right now. Reward yourself for the life that you've built. Anything on that?
Nope.
Number 8 is autonomy. So something that I will die on this fuck. I'll cut you off faster than a dead necrosis limb than if you come for my children's autonomy. So my kids know you are allowed to say no to people. If you don't want to share this thing, you don't have to do that. If you don't want to shake somebody's hand, if you don't want to sit next to somebody, if you don't want to have a relationship with somebody, you can tell them no. You have the right to have access to you. That means that door opens and closes. You do not have to have that door open all the time. If you force your children out of the comfortability of their autonomy to do things to make other people happy, you are going to raise a people pleaser.
Yep.
You're going to raise somebody who's going to have a very, very hard life with low self-confidence, decision paralysis. Don't do this to your kids. Don't force them to do things with their body, with their spirit, with their mind that they don't want to do with anybody else. Do you have anything to add to that?
Nope, there's nothing to say to that.
All right, number 9 is quality time. I love spending time with my children, right? I also have time for myself. We have time for group activities. We have time for one-on-one activities. So mommy, daughter, mommy, son. And that quality time is without my phone in my hand or television. We will go outside and look for plants. Yesterday, I made the children ecosystem detectives. And I gave them a list of things that they had to find out in the wild, like feathers or a shell, a skeleton of something dead, something living, something red, animal tracks, right? And they had their little notebooks and they had on their detective. And we're doing this together, right? I'm writing down things. I'm looking for mushrooms and, oh my goodness, what is that? And I create magic with them. That's what it is. And by the time we got back home, they found the red flower. It was right next to our driveway. And they're like, oh my God, it was home all along. And I was like, oh my gosh, you guys, you know what that means? Our land is part of the ecosystem. And it blew their mind.
Yeah.
They were like, oh my gosh. And it was 30, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. And we got back home and Mommy, I love you so much. Mommy, thank you for spending time with us. Like, it doesn't take much to actually spend quality time. You don't have to entertain your children. You don't have to be the jester. You don't have to put on a massive orchestrated show and have all of these things planned and go and spend money. And we're going to go to the beach and you have to find the super secret shark tooth. It's not any shark tooth, the super secret shark tooth that harnesses the power of ancient dinosaurs. Make sure for younger children, right? For older children, it's a little bit of a different thing. And if you guys would like an older children version of this, I can certainly sit down and do that. Fun is fun. And children's love meter is filled through quality time and attention.
Yep. Yes, it is.
And you can have fun with it as well. I'm a nature person. I take the children out in the garden with me. We'll go on nature hikes. I want to go to Corkscrew Preserve so they can look at all the ecosystems and the habitats and all those kinds of things, the different animals out there. Bring your children along on things that you enjoy doing. My husband's getting Little Man into He-Man right now. And that's going to be your guys' quality time bonding thing. And my husband's going to have fun with that.
Assuming this movie doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The amount of shit that I'm seeing on the internet right now. They're saying that it's going to do worse than the Grogu movie did.
No.
Yep. Disney lost their ass. It had a strong opening weekend and it tanked like 80% the second week. Isn't it?
80% the second week is embarrassing.
For a Star Wars movie.
For Star Wars, bro. They get their dick so hard about that stuff.
Yeah.
And you lost 80% the next weekend?
Yeah.
Damn.
People are tired of Disney's bullshit.
Yeah. Also, total side note, did you hear about the CSAM thing that's opened up over the Disney cruises?
The what?
CSAM? It's a child sex thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew about that months ago. I told you about that. It happened when they were talking about the Hanta virus or whatever.
Yeah.
That Disney cruise thing got announced, and with 1 day later, that virus
of course
became the big news, and that Disney cruise got suppressed. But I told you about it. We talked about it that day. There's a whole lot. There's even proof that Disney had cruise ships that went to Epstein's Island when Epstein's Island was a thing. Disney's a fucking disaster. It's too much fucking child abuse for. Yeah. Anyways,
we don't really do Disney in this household anymore.
Nope.
Right.
I have something I'd like to add on that before we go to 9.
I do too.
On the quality time thing, it's real simple. It's not even a matter that they want to play with you. They just want to be engaged in the things that you're being engaged with.
Right.
And if you're doing this and your kids are like, Mom, Dad, look, and you're like, oh yeah, that's real cool. Tell me that doesn't feel horrible, right? They're putting in bid for connections just like you do in your marriage. It is your responsibility to engage in that bid. Put your fucking phone away. Like, for real, guys, learn to live your life without this fucking thing in your face.
To add on to the quality time, when you spend quality time with your children, that also strengthens the bond with them. So when they have something going on in life, maybe they have predatory friends is the only thing coming to my mind. Friends that want to corrupt them. And right, that's not the child's fault. They are a product of their environment. So that speaks more to the parents of that child than anything else. Maybe peer pressure. Maybe your daughter got sexually assaulted, right? All of these things could happen. The quality time that you spend with your children, building that relationship and that bond and that I care about you will increase the likelihood of your children coming to you when something serious is going on in their life. If you do not have an attachment to your child and they do not have an attachment to you and you are just on your phone and they're in their room on an iPad or playing video games, who are they going to go to when something serious happens? The internet.
Yep.
because that's what they've had this whole time. Anything else on quality time?
Nope.
Alrighty. So number 10 is routine. Routine is integral to humanity, not just to children. If I'm out of my routine, I'm a mess. I had 4 mental breakdowns on vacation. A lot of taming. I was being tamed by my husband. Get back, lioness. That's what fucking I'm sobbing, I'm freaking out and all these kinds of things because I am out of my routine, my comfort zone.
Oops, wrong button. You actually did have quite a bit of emotional.
Yeah.
You had some autistic meltdowns out there too. Like you actually looked at me at one point while crying and was like, I'm realizing how important my routine is to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also unlocked a new understanding of my autism that day. Like,
yeah.
Fuck. Routine is integral. We need predictability. That's why people get hung up on watching the same show 400 times.
It's comfort.
Or reading the same book because we know how it's going to play out. We know how it's going to end, right? Children need routine. Every single morning, we get up, we brush our teeth, we go potty, new day, new energy, we put on new clothes, right? After that, we check in. We intuitively eat. I'm not cooking breakfast if nobody's hungry, right? I'm not going to force the children to eat just because that's what we do in the morning. So we check in. Are we hungry? Do we want a big breakfast? Do we want a little snack? I'm okay with early lunches. We have early dinners. We don't really eat past 7 o'clock in the household. After that, we go about the day. Yesterday was a no technology day. Oh, that's a lie. They played PlayStation while we were working. Never mind. We implement no technology days once a week.
Yeah, I think we actually do it more than that.
Yeah.
I think once a week is the standard.
Oh, that's like a full day, morning till about like 7 o'clock at night.
Right. We actually do that more. There's days where we wake up and be like, today's just not going to be a technology day because of their behavior.
Yeah.
And it's not a punishment. It's because we know when they've got brain rot happening.
Yeah.
And like, you're going to get a lot more by touching dirt than fucking reading, on your tablet all weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually proud of us for it being more than a single day.
Yeah.
Most parents don't even do that. The only reason they got PlayStation yesterday and had technology at all is because Carrie was working and we needed to go live. And that was an easy babysitter for an hour.
Yeah.
They played Bluey though. And that's not like a shooter game. Like they were doing puzzles and still working their brain. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything technology wise that they have access to, I would say 2% of it's brain rot things, right? Like nail painting art, or our son's riding around on a 4-wheeler doing some Jurassic Park game on his tablet.
Right.
But that's a very minuscule percentage of their technology. They don't have phones. They don't have iPads. The tablets that they have are Fire tablets, and they are very restricted. And we don't do technology during the day. So if you wake up stupid early, right? If the kids are up before the sun's up at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, I'm okay with you watching Octonauts.
Yeah. You can watch a little bit of educational TV.
Right? You can put on Bluey. I'm okay with Bluey. They know what they're allowed to watch. And if I walk into their bedroom and they are watching something they know they're not allowed to watch, you've just lost your television for the day.
Yeah.
Right?
At least.
Yes. And dependent upon your behavior, you may not get it back tomorrow. Right? I'm not saying structure up a routine of, okay, at 7:30, everybody wakes up. 7:35, everybody goes potty. 7:50, everybody sits down and I'm cooking breakfast. At 8 o'clock, husband leaves for work. Like, we're not mapping it out like that. We need a general idea of quadrants, right? So break the day down into 4 different quadrants. We have the morning, we have the afternoon, we have the evening, and then we have nighttime. So in the morning, every day is going to be different. What's not going to be different is brushing your teeth, going to the bathroom, getting changed, breakfast. If it's school time, school, homeschooling, whatever the case may be, summertime, what do we want to do today? Are we going to spend time outside? Are we going to go to a museum? Structure it out the day before, whatever the case may be. Things that have to happen, lunchtime, maybe a nap time if you have a young enough child. Outside playtime, no television.
Or a tired enough adult.
Right? Evening time, what does that look like? Cooking dinner, unwinding, evening showers, maybe reading. Bedtime, structured bedtime. Our children, I have set their biological clocks so well.
Yeah, they're going to bed on their own most nights.
At 7 o'clock, right? 7:30 rolls around. All right, mommy, I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed. Good night. Depending on if I fall asleep or not, because sometimes I'll fall asleep on the couch before they go to bed.
Yeah.
I go in there and I read to them, and that is what they will fall asleep to, me reading to them. or they will fall asleep to an episode of Octonauts or an episode of Bluey. There is a show called Lucas the Spider that I enjoy. Our son likes that show, Lucas the Spider. He'll get an episode of that. A lot of reading Rainbow. There is a show on Netflix that is actually just bedtime stories being read. So it's a book open on the page, on the screen, and it'll flip the pages and it'll show you, it's just a book being read. Routine is how you provide structure. And in finding structure is where not just children, people find their confidence. If you are free falling from a plane without a parachute, you have no confidence. If you were prepared for that skydive and you got your wrist clock on for elevation and you have your strap ready to go and you got your GoPro filming a thing, maybe you do a little flip, you got all the confidence in the world. You know exactly what you're doing. Do you have anything to add to this?
Nope.
All right. So that's all I got. I hope that you guys enjoyed this episode. This was something, it was a brain baby I had a day or two ago. I made some notes on my phone. So this wasn't something that was super in-depth planned out. If you guys would like another episode, I'm definitely open to comments. So please leave comments down below with any type of questions. I can certainly do an older child's episode on what I would do or conduct myself in situations with teenagers or even young adults, 18, 19, 20 years old. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for ingesting this content. And I hope that this helps you guys in your parenthood.
People in the comments have really been enjoying this. There was a lot of people thanking you for doing this earlier. So yeah, a lot of help. And we've sustained 60 to 70 people watching the entire time. So that's a plus, especially for it being as early as it is.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't have anything to add to this. I added my little snippets, but we parent a lot of the same way. Like there are minor changes, but the outcomes and the goals are the same. So we can wrap up. We don't have to go live again today. This was it.
All right.
That gives me the opportunity to do the things that I need to do and not have to worry about being behind on shit.
Okay. I'm going to go start breakfast.
Love that
egg
because I'm
salad
fucking
sandwich.
starving. Yes, 2 of them.
Ooh.
2 of them. And I don't want my bread toasted this time.
Big breakfast. No toasted bread.
No toasted bread.
Really?
Yep. I don't, that multi-grain toast, when it toasts, the edges get too hard. I don't like it. Guys, as always, remember you are the author of your own life.
So grab the pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
You're also writing your children's lives.
Yep.
Bye, guys.